Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Living Solo, Living Well, and I'm Kat, and today I wanted to talk about how to stay connected without exhausting yourself. So if you're an introvert like I am, for the most part, I'm an introvert, and you don't want to socialize. There are times I do not want to get out of the house. I don't want to people. I just don't. I don't want to adult sometimes, but I must. So if I am going to stay connected as an introvert, how do I go about doing that without being exhausted? To me, being connected to others is important, and it helps with our self-esteem. It helps with just our socialization. It helps with not feeling lonely. You know, we can be alone but not lonely, and we can be alone and lonely. So to balance that out, it's kind of a difficult. It's kind of like there's finesse to it. So if I'm just completely introverted and I don't want to go out, I might not go anywhere or see anybody or want to socialize for probably a good week or so, or several days at least. And when I do want to socialize, like after we had several days of snowstorm and ice and being cooped up, I was ready to get out and do a little bit of socialization out and about at the store, or I did go to Goodwill today and a couple of different places. I was ready to get out of the house, but a little too much. It doesn't take long for it to become too much. If I hear kids screaming or people talking really, really loud when you're out and about at like shopping or looking at clothing, or, you know, wherever you're at shopping, the noise level, it grates on my nerves after a point. And so I need to get out of the store. I want to get back home. I don't want to hang out in an area that makes me stressed. And I start to feel stressed, kind of closed in from all the people. And if you hear clicking, my dog, she wasn't able to get her nails trimmed last week because of the winter weather coming in. So that's on the schedule, but she's walking across the hardwood and you can hear that. But anyway, it doesn't take long for me to want to get out of there because it seems like it's overstimulating for me. And as an introvert, I've got to have some peace and quiet. I can't put up with too much of the noise. And ironically, I am starting a new PRN nursing job where there are a lot of people and a lot of noise and a lot of drama. So we're going to see how I'm able to handle that, because that's a little too much at times, especially a 12-hour shift. So you have patients yelling and screaming and crying, and a lot of dementia patients, so they don't really know what they're doing. So, but anyway, there are times I'm out and about, and even if the noise level is fine, just the act of being out in and about, going through items at the grocery store, it just seems like I'm done. I get to a point where I'm done and I don't want to do that anymore. So my tricks or strategy, I guess you could say, for not exhausting myself when I'm out and about trying to stay connected with people is to limit the number of errands that I run in a day's time. You know, sometimes I'll have to run to Walmart or run to Kroger and then run other errands. I might go to Lowe's, and I'm building a house, so I'm picking out things for the house. But there comes a point where after I've looked at so many pieces of tile or LVP flooring, I can't look at it anymore. I'm done. And it might be 5 minutes. I might last 20 minutes. It just depends on how I feel at that moment. So sometimes I'll go in, I'll look at a few things, and it's like, I just can't do this today. I just can't handle staying connected and meeting people. Although I do like to meet new people, and I can carry on a conversation very well with people, with new people as well. but it's not my favorite thing to do. It's kind of like I fake it till I make it. And then when I'm done, I'm done. So what are the ways that I can stay connected without exhausting myself? So dividing up my errands that I run to where I don't have as many in one day. And I have learned, after the brain injury, I have learned how to, or that I need to rest during the middle of the day. Whether I'm able to nap or not, I need that rest. I can close my eyes for about 30 minutes or an hour, and that helps to kind of decompress from whatever I've done. So I know the other day I went for orientation at the new job, and it wasn't very long. It didn't take long at all. But then after that, I had another interview elsewhere for another PRN position, and which is the one I prefer. They've got a few more interviews to complete, so I don't know about that one. But that's the one I prefer. But anyway, when I had gone to the orientation, and then I went to that interview, when I got home, I was just exhausted. I had to, came in, put my comfy clothes on, and then I fixed some lunch, and then I sat down for a little bit, closed my eyes, had my dog on my lap. I had the TV on low, but sometimes I'll turn it off where I don't hear it, or I'll turn the volume down. And then I can kind of rest my mind and decompress. So those are two ways: limiting how many errands I run in a day, and limiting having some time to rest, to kind of regroup. And so other ways that I have of not exhausting myself is not talking on the phone very much at all. I don't like to text very much because here comes my dog. So she may knock the camera down. She may knock the tripod over. But I don't mind texting, but I don't like to text long conversations. But I also don't like to be on the phone very much at all as far as phone calls, because it's too much for my mind to have to, I guess, navigate in a conversation. I don't know why. It's just like I'm ready to get off the phone. I don't mind with a couple of really close friends. I do enjoy their conversations or conversations with them. But I don't want to, if it's someone I don't know very well, I really don't want to spend a lot of time on the phone. And there was a time when I was dating a guy, and he did not like phone calls. He did not like to call me. He liked to text me. And one time I was watching a documentary, and he texted, and I texted back and said, feel free to give me a call. And he said, oh, I'm watching a movie. Come on. You're watching a movie and texting, so you can't pause the movie and call me? I paused the documentary that I was watching to answer his text because I wanted to stay connected to that documentary. I didn't want anything to play that I missed. And he just couldn't show me that courtesy, but he continued to text. That was the strange thing. If you're watching a movie and you're sending a text after text after text, can you call? I still don't understand that. So somebody please help me understand that and wrap my brain around it. So I kind of brushed him off and gave him a thumbs up when he said he's watching a movie. Gave him a thumbs up. He kept texting, and I gave him another thumbs up because I was done. And then I quit texting. So I just don't like to have a conversation in text unless it's really quick. And I don't want to have a lengthy conversation on the phone, but I would prefer that over constantly having to stop what I'm watching, the documentary or a movie or whatever, and to respond to each text that comes through. So that's another way for me to decompress, is by not using my phone pretty much. Not just no phone calls or limited phone calls, but limited texting. So the electronic device, the phone, I would prefer not to have attached to me. I don't mind it if I get random texts or calls, short ones, but that's it. So for me to not exhaust myself, I've got an itchy nose today. I'm so sorry. I've got to have not too much interaction via phone because it's just, I don't know why, it just bugs the fire out of me. So also, when I like to hang out with a couple of my close friends, I don't do that very often now, lately, because one moved out of state. She's a couple hours away, comes in town maybe once a month or less, and we'll go to lunch. But I don't really have a lot of friends in my inner circle because I don't want to. I choose not to. I prefer to have my friends, my very close friends, and meet with them for lunch. But even with them, even with my friend, when we go to an antique store, we'll eat lunch, go to an antique store, and I'm okay for 30 minutes, maybe less. But when it goes beyond that, I start to get a little, somebody gave me a word once, antsy. And in this case, I do get antsy because I'm starting to get uncomfortable. I'm starting to get uncomfortable being, having to perform in public, having to have a conversation, or having to entertain somebody, or having to see, there are a lot of people at this particular antique store. So you run in, you're passing people, things are crowded sometimes in these little booths that you're in, that you go to check things out. And that just gets to me after a while. There's that itchy nose. Must be someone talking about me because my nose is itching. Have you heard that before? I guess that's what I've heard before. So anyway, I tire out easy and mentally, and it's just too much. I want to go home. So sometimes I'll just tell her, I think I'm going to go on home now, and she'll stay a little bit. Or sometimes I'll last throughout, the 30 minutes or maybe an hour. I prefer not to drag it out, just because I get to the point where I need to separate from the activity. It's not my friend. I enjoy being around her and when she comes to town where we go to lunch and shop, but I just have to separate from any kind of interaction with people. And I don't even like to answer my front door when people come by, because I don't like uninvited guests. I don't mind if it's my daughter or my grandson, but I really don't like solicitors. And that makes me stressed because I don't like people going door to door or coming to my house, because I don't want to have to answer it. I don't want to have to be pressured. They give you the sales pitch, and it's a pitch. It's what they are made to say to make the sale. And I don't like that. So I have a no soliciting sign at the bottom of my door. I had a lady telling me one time, oh, I'm not soliciting. She was working for something about the TV ratings or something. This is many, many years ago. And she came by to get my opinion and give me a free can of coffee, ground coffee. I didn't take it because I didn't want it. But I told her, I pointed to the sign, I said, no soliciting. And she said, oh, I'm not. And I said, well, you are, because you're asking me for something in exchange for the can of coffee. So you're soliciting some opinions of mine. And she just couldn't see that. She couldn't understand it. So she came back another time, and when she gave me the card, I called that company and I said, please, I told her no soliciting, do not come by anymore. And she's come by twice. So that's another thing I don't like, is answering the door. I'm not one of those people that, that hides and doesn't want to socialize, but I just don't like uninvited guests or people coming by and they're uninvited. So don't come by. I don't want any solicitors. So those are a few of the ways that help me from exhausting myself, tiring myself out, but still trying to stay connected with people. I don't mind when I'm working, I'll stay connected with my patients and coworkers, but when I'm done, I'm done. I don't want to deal with anybody anymore. I don't want to have to think about stuff. I want to decompress. I don't want to have to, I want to think about mindless things when I'm done. I don't want to have to, figure stuff out. I don't have to problem solve. I don't want to have to problem solve. I want to just be done. So I know that probably sounds weird, like what kind of person is she? But as I've gotten older and after the brain injury, I think that plays a huge part in it. I just tire easily and I want to be done. So, but when I'm ready to socialize, I'll do it on my terms. So let me know what your thoughts are. Like, how do you decompress? How do you not wear yourself out, but yet you stay connected to your friends and to other people? We need human interaction. That's one of our basic needs. If we were isolated from every single person, we wouldn't grow. We would just it'd be pitiful. And you've probably heard of babies in third world countries that are given up for adoption, and they're at these orphanages. And there's very little interaction because there are so many babies and they're very stunted in their growth. So I know that we need that as part of just our basic human needs. We need interaction with people. But I like to limit my interaction because, as I said, when I'm done, I'm done. And I start to tune out. So I don't want to be out with someone, shopping, eating, whatever, and then I'm just tuning out because I'm at that point. So let me know what you do to decompress. And do you want to go home? Like, once you're out a little while, what's your limit? What's your time limit? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 2 hours? Mine's very low. My threshold went from here to here over the last several years. So I just would like to know what you guys think and how you deal with it. So please like, share, and subscribe, and drop a comment below, and I'll see you on the next video.